My fellow Guardians, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Destiny 2 Shadowkeep video for you all. And this time, we're going to be talking about the Master Tier Nightmare Hunt. Shadowkeep was supposedly made for the hardcore player, and with that, quite a few activities have had their difficulty levels bumped up a notch. The Nightmare Hunts, along with the Nightfall, have a 980 variant called Master. Now, Nightmare Hunts offer pinnacle drops, along with a high chance for exotics, and the highest tier mod in the game, called Supreme mods, which are a step above the enhanced varieties. So far, I've seen quite a few of them drop, and they make quite the difference. Of course, only in these Nightmare Hunts. But these next set of videos I'm going to be putting out are basically a collection of guides for every single 980 master level Nightmare Hunt there is going to be, for every boss that there is at least. Now this week we have Zydron, Tanyx, and then Gaul. As the weeks go on and as the nightmares rotate, I'll be making guides for all of them to show to how not only beat it, but how to get the time trial triumph as well. So in this video, guys, we're going to be taking a look, first up, my boy Zydron, the OG Gate Lord. None of that Vex offensive public event moon crap. No, this dude, Zydron is the real thing. For those who played D1, you might remember him from the Gate Lord's Eye mission, the first time we were introduced to Mara Sov and the Prince, Uldren Sov. All of these Nightmare Hunts have modifiers longer than a prostitute's police report, so while they don't change all that much, be sure to look at one individually before going in. So before we get started, guys, if you plan on doing Master Tier Nightmare Hunts regularly, then it's probably a good idea to get a separate set of armor for it and make a build just for these hunts. This way you can simply switch over, out of your PvP or raid loadout simply by switching gear instead of going over every single mod slot. Now this guide is meant for the start of November. In a month or so, all of us will have ranked out, our artifacts many times over, plus with the +2 change coming to pinnacle drops here soon, will be much higher light, and that of course means it's going to be much easier. But as of right now, in the middle 960s to lower 970s, it is still a bit of a challenge. So moving on here, let's talk Zydron. Now you don't have to, but as always, having a Warlock will help out your team tremendously. So set your Warlock to Well of Radiance. Titans, you want to hit up Bubble Bro, and Top Tree Tether Hunters, that's my current recommendation. This way, if something like a well ends up going away unexpectedly, you can always pop a bubble to survive in, and it's also a great boost for damage. Tether Hunter works well for trash mobs who hurt a lot in this tier, and the orbs never hurt either. But the big move for this is invisibility. This will get your teammates up safely in case they go down, which will happen. Okay, so next up, let's talk about armor. You want to pretty much put Dreambane mods in all of your slots. If you have one, use an enhanced breaker mod. Now, if you've beaten a master tier Nightmare Hunt before, and you just so happen to have a supreme breaker mod, then of course, use that one. The shields that spawn on this tier are insanely powerful and take a lot of damage to knock down, especially the ones created by the Nightmare boss itself, and this mod will help out a lot. Once again, as the months go on, we can start changing over to other mods, but right now, Dreambane is the way to go for just about all of your gear, except for one slot. Put an enhanced breaker or a supreme breaker if you have it. For the Warlocks out there, be sure to use Paragon mods or a distribution mod. This recharges your class ability faster when you're using your class ability, meaning that as soon as you throw down a rift, you stand in the entire time, you're going to have another rift immediately afterwards. This is a huge help for doing damage and staying alive in general. Have the other teammates run Dreambane as well, and one of the breaker mods. Once you start beating these regularly and you start collecting all of the Supreme Nightmare mods, we'll start switching things up. But for right now, Dreambane seems to be the way to go. So for the final part about mods, you guys need to run special finisher mods that drop you special ammo once you finish an enemy. The Famine modifier is on for the 980 level, and ammo is very hard to come by. Special Finisher allows you to not only reload Divinity, but Izanagi's as well. The rest of the build is pretty much up to you. If you're the only Warlock though, do not use it. Have the other two teammates run Special Finishers, as you will need your well. The Special Finisher asks for a third of your super, but as you will see, having Special Drop is key to getting this done quickly. So moving on to weapon loadouts, as you might have guessed here, Izanagi's is a must-have. Make sure you guys run Izanagi's with the Catalyst completed. Have two teammates run that, while a third runs Divinity. The Titan or Hunter, or if you're running two Warlocks, throw on Oppressive Darkness grenades as well, because these are extremely powerful. Your supers don't really do all that much damage to the boss, at least right now, so it's all about Izanagi's and Divinity while trying to apply as many damage buffs as possible. We'll talk about damaging the boss once we get there. For the rest of your weapons, guys, Wendigo works very, very well here, as the blinding effect gives you, a little bit of wiggle room to escape dangerous situations, and it also allows for revives if need be. but one of you will need a solar weapon of some kind. Solar energy auto rifle, might a mini tool, solar grenade launcher such as Outrageous Fortune with spike grenades, highly recommended. There will only be solar and arc shields within this encounter, and Divinity can take care of all the arcs, so you guys need to focus on something solar. Alright guys, so that's about it. Go ahead and load it up and head on in. The time trial for Zydron, I believe, is 15 minutes. I was with the team a few days ago, and we took a couple of first timers through and beat it at 11:50, and they both received the time trial, so I'm guessing it's 15 minutes, while the rest of the Nightmare Hunts are probably 10 minutes, although I do believe Crota is 15 minutes as well, but we'll get to that in the next video. So the key for the time trial, guys, is to focus only on the nightmares. Don't worry about points for a time trial run. Leave the barrier and overload a-holes alone. When you start it up, you can do one of two things here at the beginning. Either all of you can run to the right-hand side and just YOLO it, running by everything as fast as you can, or you can first take out the Cyclops and then rotate to the left and run past everything that way. It's a little bit of a safer way, but of course stopping to take something out eats a little bit of your time. Either way, don't worry about shooting any of these ads here because they're just here to eat up your time. You want to run past everything as quickly as possible and then make it to the next part. Once you make it here, head to the left-hand side of the map and work your way up to the building. Then hug the wall and work your way over to the enemies while trying not to be seen. You don't want to draw attention to yourselves until you're ready to start shooting. The player with Divinity is kind of acting like a team leader here. They're going to designate which enemy to shoot. So use Divinity, and once the aura on the enemy pops up, use Izanagi's to take it out. Now the Nightmares with Divinity usually only takes one shot as long as you crit, otherwise it'll be two. Once you take out the first Nightmare, just simply repeat the process until all the Nightmares are taken care of. Once they're gone, that then opens up the next area. You can once again skip by everything else and go ahead and head on inside. As you're running down the tunnel, the same thing goes here. Use Divinity, pop shield, take out Nightmare, finish the rest of the Exploder guys. Once you make it to the actual boss fight arena, hug the left wall and book it all the way to the back. You want to actually make it behind the portal itself. For some reason, enemies will not follow you back here, and the boss will just chill over here to the right. But since you have so much cover, it's an easy place to be able to pick off all of the Nightmares and then set up for damage. Once again, use Divinity for Nightmares, kill any ads that are too close for comfort. Warlocks, keep popping rifts as many times as you can. With the special mod setup you have on that we talked about earlier, you should never be without a rift as long as you sit in it the entire time. Now once you make it to the last Nightmare, before you kill it, you want to start farming for special. Choose one enemy, team shoot it, and then use the special finisher. Keep doing that as quickly as possible so that you guys have full special ammo. Once you do, reload and now take out the last Nightmare. Once the boss is ready for damage, each of you need to run out and grab the orange orbs that drop from the defeated Nightmares. This will give you 15 seconds of something called Unstable Charge. This is a buff, and by the way, a huge damage boost to Nightmares and Nightmare bosses. The key is to pick up the orange orb, then use Divinity while sitting in a Warlock well. Divinity is currently quote-unquote bugged, and it stacks with other damage boosts. There's apparently a fix coming for it here in a week or so use it while you can. Regardless of whether it stacks or not, you want to use the well, for at least just to soak up the extra damage. So pop a Warlock well for damage boost and also to stay alive. Keep Divinity on the boss the entire time while the other two are using Izanagi's. If your Unstable Charge runs out, take a quick look around and see if there's one nearby. If there's not, don't worry about it, just keep doing as much damage as possible. You would be surprised at how much damage those unstable charges actually give you. It is a big damage boost, so try to always have it on you whenever you're doing boss damage. It is completely possible to melt the boss instantly during your first damage phase if you have your unstable charge plus Divinity while using a well, and of course this is preferred, but Zydron's critical spot is pretty terrible. You can hit it dead center and still miss. It seems that the top of the diamond will give you the most consistent results. If you don't get the boss down the first time, get ready for solar shields. Warlock, pop a rift, and then use your grenade launchers or your grenade, solar auto rifle, might a mini, whatever, to get rid of the closest ones to you and then start focusing on Nightmares. Then after that, guys, it's just a matter of repeating the process. The area you're in is pretty safe. You just have to make sure you don't take too much damage from the ones that spawn in the middle. If you're out of a Radiance well when you're doing damage, then be sure to throw down a healing rift for damage. Like I mentioned at the beginning, the boss does shoot at you while you're dealing damage. And there's another activity modifier where incoming void damage is like doubled. So this is where your Dreambane mods come in handy and why you need a healing rift or some kind of healing when you're doing damage to the boss. As long as there's a healing rift or some kind of way to heal, like a warlock well, you'll be fine. If you're out, then just simply wait. Zydron will wipe your entire team if you try to do damage unprotected, especially if you group up together. Splash damage on 980 is no joke. But that's really about it, Guardians. After a damage phase or two, you're going to be done. This spot behind the gate was shown to me by a friend of mine, Karma Gaming, so shout out goes to him for showing me because it makes this encounter pretty much a piece of cake. However, Taniks and Gaul, that's another story. But because of this spot, Zydron is the easiest nightmare there is for this week. But stay tuned as I have Taniks and Gaul coming up here next, which is a lot more interesting. I'll keep making these guides for every nightmare out there, so be sure to keep an eye out for them over the next couple of weeks. Now, as you start completing these master tiered nightmare hunts, you'll start earning these supreme mods, and one of them is called Supreme Banisher, and it buffs your super damage to nightmare bosses. Once your entire team has that, it's then time for Nighthawk to make an appearance, as well as Melting Point and Hammers, but until then, stick with Divinity and Izanagi's. But I am out of here, y'all. As always, thank you for watching and for supporting Sly Nation. If you're new to my channel, then welcome, Guardians. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you stick around to see what's next. Spank the thumbs up, but only if you enjoyed yourself, and subscribe for plenty more Destiny 2 videos, guides, and reviews as we head into the second half of Shadowkeep. If you're bored out there browsing the net for the latest cat memes, feel free to check me out over on Twitter or Facebook at Sly Nation, or Sly Nation Gaming on the FB. Later, y'all, and as always, thank you for watching. Keep those eyes open for more videos coming out here soon, but until then, this is your dude Sly, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.